India and the United States in 2024 was about 200 plus billion, if I'm not wrong, as compared to 2023. It rose up somewhere close to 8%. Our trade with Southeast Asian countries in the same period was about 120 billion. And in case these tariffs are brought in, we are bound to lose about 50 to 70 billion worth of trade with the Americans. Do you think this deficit is something that India can take to the Southeast Asian companies? Is that a math that the country is perhaps willing to do in light and in lieu of these tariffs?
Vinny, thank you very much for your show and a very good question to begin with. Look, it's very important for us to understand and necessity is the mother of invention, and maintaining strategic autonomy, maintaining economic independence, and maintaining independence in the policy making is the sacrosanct for our country. Even if you look at the tariffs, the impact, where Trump has put tariffs is $44 billion. And let's assume and presume all goes down the drain. Now, there are some sectors of the Indian economy which are irreversible. And let me also put another thing, when you look at the economy broader level, your goods might take a little bit of it, but your services can cover for them. Your one sector might come down, but your another sector will come down. I'll give you 3 examples which are coming on the top of my mind after your question. The first thing is, look, if you look at the pharmaceuticals, we are the pharmaceutical king of the world. 203 countries and counting. So there are a lot of countries who want our medicines, and there are a lot of countries who will be willing to take our medicines more. So what Dr. Jaishankar did when was in Russia, he talked up to Moscow about that. He talked to them about textiles and a couple of other things which they need, because there are around $50 billion of kind of current account deficit which we have with them. And there's a lot of Russian money which is parked in a bank somewhere in India, which can be just utilized for the purpose. So that is open. 50 countries opening up, what can we sell to whom, and what kind of export linked incentives and what kind of a PLI schemes can we make them viable. That is being done. Now, our services sector is irreversible. You cannot replace Indian services sector. There is no competitor in the world at that price. Nobody can come and reverse. But even when America is $150 billion, can Trump do anything around it? He cannot. If he does, he will hurt America more. Now, if you look at these sectors, if you look at fisheries, we are the #2 fisheries producer in the world, and there is definitely a market who wants this. If you look at the food, either we are #1 or #2 in a lot of items. If you look at hydrocarbons, we are #4. If you look at space, we are #3. So there are a lot of things which Indian industry is 1, 2, or 3, and there's a big market in the world. Yeah, we all want a big one market so that we can go and sell our things, but we might have to split that into a lot of things. The thing is, there are a lot of sectors in which nobody practically competes with India. IT and some other sectors are some of those sectors where nobody competes. So it is but natural for these sectors, the markets of the India are going to open, and they will open. And for example, Vineet, if for example, if America doesn't buy fish from us, they'll be buying fish from somewhere else. But wherever they are buying fresh from, his sellers are open for us to go and sell. Because at the end of the day, there's nobody who can sell infinite fish. Let's say my production is 100 million tons. I'm sold that to America. Now my customers are out there where we can go and approach. So market keeps on evolving. Our economy keeps on growing. Our economy we have done much better in GDP. And even there's a talk that when Prime Minister Modi is going to visit Japan, they're talking of some $78 billion of investment into India. So things like that will keep on happening because everybody knows, even China, America, forget Trump. Everybody knows the biggest market for next 70 to 100 years is India. Still, you're growing at 7.5%. And the people who called you our economy dead, they're growing at 1.25%. So if you look at the numbers, if you do the crunching, whatever they are saying is mere posturing, is mere personal agenda which Donald Trump is carrying. And if you look at, Vineet, what is happening? You look at Nikki Haley, you look at, what is his name, John Kerry, you look at John Bolton. What does his own guy saying? You are bringing America to a disaster. And what does Trump do? He goes and raids the house of John Bolton. What does Pete Hegseth do? You don't agree with me, you don't agree with Trump, you're fired. What does Jeffrey Cruz, a very high-ranking general, fired? The head of the defense, what are the defense intelligence? Then we had this David Alvin, high-ranking general, retiring 2 years in advance. Then we had this, Brown Jr., well, he was gone. Then there is this Tim Hogg, another very high-ranking general who was literally fired because they don't want to kind of agree with Trump. Dr. Arika, who had the BLS, the body which gave all the statics were not in favor. You shoot them down. And what does Bank of America say? What does your economists say? What are your own people, Republicans, Democrats, or prominent Americans and American, institutions saying that you are going to get more in trouble? And let me repeat what economists said, that the American GDP will be shrunk by at least 6%, and few $1,000s of every household income will go. And the Bank of America claims if things go like this, you will lose 42 to 72 trillion dollars will move out of America in some point of time. That is what their own institutions are saying. And Vineet, let's look at 1930, Smoot-Harvey Act. Exactly, this was done. After 4 years, your GDP shrank by 5%, and the Great Depression arrived. And Trump has already warned, if courts try to fiddle with my tariff, the Great Depression kind of a situation will come. And if you look at all the data which has come since yesterday to this morning, there are very subtle and direct signs that American economy is kind of already entering a recession. Don't get carried away by the stock markets are rising, because that is the Powell has come to the Trump and said, I'll bring down the repo rate. Ideally, you should maintain the repo rate or increase it, but that is a temporary thing. The day the repo rates are brought down, then watch the stock exchange in next 48 hours. It's again going to go down like hell. So I don't know where Trump is going to get it, how Trump is going to manage it, and his big beautiful bill, another $6 trillion of debt on the Americans. So the things are not looking good. And this, this approach of what I call Zille Sohani approach, as if you are the Shahenshah of America, you're not an elected president. This is not how democracies behave. This is even autocracies in nowadays cannot afford to behave like this. But if American president thinks he owns the America, fiefdom hai uski, he's the Badshah Salamat of America and he can decide whatever he wants to do, then that's a bigger problem for America in the long run. We are a country which will survive, and our internal consumption numbers are pretty good. We are still going at 6.5 to 7%. If there were some fundamental flaws in the economy, we would not have that economic rate. And what the Honorable Prime Minister mentioned on 15th August, our macroeconomic parameters compared to American macroeconomic parameters are much better. I think that is testimony to the fact.
All right.
Will not.
Let me open Dr. Ajay Dua as well, former Commerce Secretary and Senior Economist, into this conversation as well. Dr. Dua,